warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat sejahtera. Hello everyone. Welcome to YouTube live session. This is actually my first YouTube live session, and tonight, okay, what's the topic for tonight? First of all, let me introduce myself. Okay, I can see, yeah, right. Can see a few people join in already. Okay, I will start straight away while waiting for others to come. Let me introduce myself. My name is Abdul Karim Alias. I'm a lecturer from University of Science Malaysia, and tonight I want to share a topic which is very relevant, and it's a hot topic these few days, especially when everyone is going into online in big time. And tonight I'm going to spend probably about half an hour to 40 minutes, 45 minutes maybe, to discuss about this topic, practical approach to online teaching and learning. And I'm just going to share or to give some overview of how to conduct, how to shift from the face-to-face class to an online class. So this is actually a very practical approach based on my own practice, based on my own experience. I'm sure there are a lot of people more experienced than me in terms of doing online teaching and learning, and I'm by no means expert in this area, but I'm just going to share some of whatever little knowledge I have in regards to online teaching and learning. So I'm going to actually have a series of online YouTube live series on this topic. This actually will covers a few aspects. For example, those who have no or very little experience in online education, the first question that probably they will ask is, how do I get started? Then the next question would be, what platform should I use? If you are teaching at the university, probably you probably have your own the university's platform, such as your learning management system. But if you're not teaching at a university, or if you're teaching in school, for example, you might not have a teaching platform or learning management system that is ready for you to use. So I'm going to talk about this a bit more about this in the next session. But tonight I'm going to show very briefly some of the essential aspect, how to get or how to move from face-to-face class to online class or online teaching. Then in the next series, I'm going to talk about creating content, then creating the learning activities, and one of the important aspects of online course or conducting online class is the issue of engaging the students, student engagement, student motivation, student engagement. How do you make sure that the student will be engaged during the whole session? And another important issue is assessment. Well, assessment is a big thing. I probably would invite some expert actually to join me conducting this online session to talk about mainly about online assessment. So as you can see, I'll be covering a lot of things, not in this particular session, because tonight I'm going to give very specific. I'm going to share a very specific approach that I think that it would work in more situation when we conduct 1 hour online class. So let me start. Okay, before I move on, let me just share a few points here on this. Let me get my PowerPoint. Um, okay, so let me check how many people have joined in. So, okay, we have quite a number, about 19 so far. I think that's good. Okay, feel free to post any questions. I'm going to look at the questions towards the end of this session tonight. Okay, so the main focus tonight is to talk about moving from teaching face-to-face class to online class due to COVID-19 issue. Um, okay, all right, I'm looking for my cursor now. Uh, well, by the way, I'm doing online live online session tonight for the first time on YouTube, and I'm using Ecamm Live. This is actually an application on my Mac, only for Mac. So I'm not yet very familiar using this application, so please bear with me if I'm a bit kind of disorganized tonight. Okay, anyway, once again, for those who just came in, thank you for joining the session tonight. Let me start again. Tonight is about, I'm going to share um, for those who are very new to online course or handling online class. Probably they will find this very intimidating, very overwhelming to move from the physical face-to-face class giving lecture. Everyone can give lecture very easily, especially if we have been teaching for more than 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. You can just walk into the class and you can start off the lecture very, very easy. It's always very easy, at least for me. Okay, but then when we move into online class, if you have no experience and if you've not been doing it for a long time, it can be very, very daunting task, and the time to prepare for your online classes can be very time consuming. And one thing that we need to understand, one of the challenge, is the fact that the the students that we are dealing with, the students that we have in our class, even in the face-to-face situation, it's very difficult to actually to get them to be engaged during the 50 minutes or 1 hour classroom. I'm sure you have experienced this, and probably most of you would agree with me. The the reason being because of the short attention span of our students, especially this generation, the Y generation, the Z generation, so called. So how do we know when we conduct a class online, this issue of the attention span is even more critical? How to get them really engaged and focused during the 1 hour session that we have online? So this is something that we really need to think about. So tonight I want to share a model which I personally believe is very good kind of model that we can apply in the context of physical classroom. So the slide that you are looking at on the computer now, what I call 70-20-10 model of engaging learning. What I mean here by 20-70-20-10 is in the 1 hour classroom, in the 1 hour class, or about 50 minutes. Let's make it 1 hour, so just for the sake of discussion here. So the 70-20-10 simply means 70% of the class time we can conduct a few activities with the students, and these activities are well designed so that every activities that the students do would enable the students to learn about the content of that particular lesson, and the activities are also aligned with the learning outcome. So that is probably take about 70% of the time. Then the 20% portion is where the instructor or the lecturer now, or the teacher, can use the time to kind of summarize whatever the students have done in the activities, and to do the closure, or to answer the questions, or to correct any misconception and so on during this 20% of the time. And then the last 10% is where the students now are given the opportunity to reflect on what they have learned during that 1 hour session. So this is what I call 70-20-10 of active learning. So, but this is actually in the classroom situation, in the face-to-face, physical face-to-face classroom. So now, when we move this classroom into online, can we apply the same model into the online situation? So this is something that I think we need to think about together. Okay, let me go to the next slide. I keep losing my cursor here. Okay, now, all right. Yesterday, I have posted a video on this topic, how online class, how not to bore your students. And basically, my idea here to adopt the model of 70-20-10 in the face-to-face classroom into online. We cannot we can have the same concept or the same idea, but in 1 hour online class, my idea, or maybe my suggestion is, we can divide the 1 hour or 60-minute class into 5 segments here. So when we start the session, like what I'm doing today, tonight, maybe we can start with the activity. So we are going to do this shortly together. I hope you can participate and join. So my idea is the first 5 minutes of the online class, we start with the activity. So we can give the student a short quiz, for example, to check for prior knowledge, or some other things that we can do. For example, we can also get them to ask questions based on the previous class, or you can ask them the question and get them to respond. So this can happen during the first 5 minutes. We start with the activity. Then only we can, after that, we can start with the second segment, where we can give a lecture, because we love to give lectures, basically. Then you can start off your PowerPoint. And then the third segment is we can kind of pause and then start with another activity. Of course, we have planned this activity before we start the online class. So during this 10 minutes, maybe we can give the students some activity in the form of giving them or ask them to watch the video together. Then after that, give them a question, or get them to summarize 3 or 4 points based on the video. Or we can actually have some interactive activities. There are many applications that we can use to create interactive activities, which I'm going to ask you to do shortly together. And then the fourth segment is where we can continue for the so-called lecture using our PowerPoint for another 15 minutes. Then finally, on the last segment is where we can spend about 10 to 15 minutes to do a brief assessment, reflection, and finally to give the closure for the whole session. So basically, that's the 5 segment of 1 hour online class. Basically, the activity, then we have a lecture, then activity again, lecture again, and finally assessment, reflection, and the closure. All right. So let us try this in the next, let's say, about 10 to 15 minutes, just to illustrate this idea. So basically, that's what I want to do tonight. Okay. So I'll take you to okay. Okay. Let's pretend. Let's pretend that this is the online class. So we just started. Then let's imagine now the topic that I want to cover tonight is about copyright. So you are looking at the, let me go to the module. Okay, so now you are looking at the module. So we are now online. This is actually the try to pretend this actual online class now. The topic tonight is copyright for educators. Okay, now let's start the class. Okay, anyway, I don't want you to get confused. I'm now pretending that we just start the online session, the online class now. So the topic tonight is copyright for educators. So if you remember just now, we will start the first 5 minutes with activity, right? Okay, the first activity tonight is to check for your prior knowledge. I want to know how much how much you know about just hold on. I want to get something fixed here. Okay. Okay. Let's go to Unit 2. Don't worry, you don't have this module. I'm just pretending that I want to start the class tonight by doing the first 5 minutes, the activity. So the first activity is to check for the prior knowledge, pretending that this is the first time that you learn about copyright, the lesson tonight about copyright. So I'm interested to know how much you know about copyright. I want to check your prior knowledge. So what I want you to do now, if you are using laptop, it's easier. Can you please go to this website? Just type socrative.com. Okay, socrative.com. Okay, can you see the website on the screen? Yeah. So type socrative.com, then click login. Click login. Then click student login. So you are pretending that you are my students now. Okay. Okay, before we proceed, if you just join in, we are now pretending we are doing online class. We are pretending now we have this topic, the lesson tonight about copyright. So we have 5 segments in this online class tonight. The first segment is starting with activity. So now we are doing the first segment, which is the activity. Okay, type the room name IMK 209 and click join. Okay, IMK 209 and click join, and it will ask your name. So you can put your real name. You can also put a different name if you like. Okay, now after that you click done. Then you should be able now to see the question on your screen. Not this one, because I'm looking at my own screen here. Okay, I can see. Yeah. Oh, that's good. Thank you very much for participating. Okay, so I'll give you 2 minutes to answer 5 questions here. Only 5 questions. This is about copyright. Don't worry if you get it wrong. Okay. So it shouldn't take very long. Probably the most is about 1 minute. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Oops. All right. I'll give you another 1 minute. So what we are doing now, I'm doing a simulation to show you how we break down, or how we divide the 1 hour online class into 5 segments. We are now doing the first segment, starting with short activity, supposed to be about 5 minutes in the actual real class situation, online class situation. And I'm getting you to use Socrative now to answer 5 questions. These 5 questions supposed to check for your prior knowledge. I want to know how much you know about copyright. Okay, so let's see how you're doing now. Okay, looks good, looks good. Can see here. Wow. Okay, this is interesting, right? I don't know how many of you are familiar with Socrative. What you see on the screen now, this is actually from the teacher side. Okay, and I can see the response from the student in real time. So now let's imagine after the students have completed this activity, now I'm sharing the screen with all the students. Remember, we are in online situation now. Excuse me. Excuse me. Okay, so let's basically I can see I'm looking at the progress now. So we have okay. So I can see most of you have completed the exercise. Okay, what you can see here in Socrative, the red color means wrong answer. Okay, and the green means the correct answer. Well, just by looking at the whole overall results now, I can get some idea how much the students now know about copyright. And I haven't even started actually into the topic. I'm just checking the prior knowledge. Okay, I'm going to have another session on Socrative. I will show how to set up and so on. But for now, we have completed this activity. I get some idea of how much you know about copyright. Okay, can see from the results here. And I can actually start the next lecture actually. Before I show my slide, I can even go through each of the question here and start discussing with the students. Okay. So you see, you don't have to use a slide, a PowerPoint slide to conduct your online course. You can actually design for the whole 1 hour just by going through each question. If you have, let's say, 10 questions, and the questions are designed in such a way that it will align with the learning outcome for that particular lesson. Okay. So I've done with the first segment. Okay, I've done with the first segment, which is a short activity. Now the second segment, I'm going to give some lecture from my PowerPoint. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to switch to my slide here. So guys, today, thank you for the activity just now. So now I know how much you know about copyright. Don't worry, because we're going to learn more. So let me just explain a few important things about the concept of copyright. So now I'm pretending I'm in the second phase of the 5 segment here. So I pretend to give a lecture now. Okay. So I'm going to go through the slide. Excuse me for a while. Okay. Okay, I'm pretending I'm going through the slide now. So I'm giving a lecture. Okay. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, that's done. For the second segment, I give the lecture part of my online course. Let's say I've done this for 15 minutes. So now I want to go to the third segment in my online class. I'm going to do some more activity. So let's pretend again. I'm going back to the module here. Okay, in this case, let me pretend that I have this activity that I want to do together with the students in the third segment. Okay, let's pretend now we are in the third segment of the online class, which is doing some more activity after the 15 minutes lecture just now. Okay, so now I want you to participate again. If you can do this activity, basically very simple. Go to the address shown, www.menti.com, and put in the code 689712. And basically what you want to do here, we have 8 critical attributes for the 4th industrial revolution. Okay, this activity is actually not related to the copyright thing, but I'm just pretending that this activity related to the topic. But I just want to illustrate here that we are doing the activity within in the third segment We're going to spend about 10 minutes, for example. So can you just respond to this activity? Go to www.menti.com, put in the code, and then rate the 8 critical attributes of the fourth industrial revolution, 5 being the most important, and 1 being the least important. Okay, let's see. Okay, we have 1 response from the participant here, or from the student. So as you can see, as the students send their answers or send their response, you can see the results in real time on the screen. Everyone can see this happening on the screen, on their own screen. So what I'm doing now is I'm just showing the example of activity, interactive activity in this case, in the third segment of the 1 hour online class. Okay, so you can see here, you can give the students about a few minutes. You can probably have 2 or even 3 short activities during the 10 minutes in the third segment of the online class. Okay, so okay, it's good to see the students are responding now, so they are not sleeping. Okay, I'm going to spend probably another about 10 or 15 minutes, and then we'll end the session tonight. Okay, yeah, I'm glad to see all of you are responding. Can you see on the screen on the bottom right the number here? So these are the number of students who are responding to the activity here. Okay, while you are responding to this activity, I just want quickly to revise so that you are not lost. I'm sorry, I'm also a bit disorganized also. So what we are doing now, I'm trying to illustrate to you how to conduct my idea. This is basically my idea. It doesn't have to be, it may not be, not everyone actually agree with this approach, but my approach is to divide 1 hour class, online class, into 5 segments. So just now we start with the activity using Socrative. You do 5 questions about copyright, basically that to test your prior knowledge. Then I show my slide, then I give a lecture for about I imagine about 15 minutes. Then now we are doing the third segment here, doing the activity. So the activity that you are doing, the interactive activity you are doing just now, is on the third segment. Okay, let's go back to that screen just now. Okay, we have about 40 students responded to this activity, as you can see on the bottom right corner here. So, and these are the results. And now I can spend a few minutes to discuss. Okay, let's see. Knowledge 4.4, communication 4.5, which is the highest? Maybe 4.6. We have 4.6, 4.6. So it seems that integrity is one of the most important attributes in the fourth industrial revolution. Digital literacy, critical thinking. This is according to you, because you have actually answered together the average answer of 40 students. So now I can spend another few minutes to discuss this results and discuss the concept and try to relate that with the learning outcome that I have planned for this lesson. All right, so we have done with the third segment. So now I want to continue with my lecture on the fourth segment. So I will continue with my slide, pretending giving a lecture here. So, okay, so another slide, another slide, another slide. So now, let's say I have spent about 15 minutes on the fourth segment. So this is the fourth segment. And finally, on the fifth segment, I will spend another 10 minutes or 15 minutes depending on how much time I still have to do some assessment. Maybe I give the students some more quizzes or get the students to reflect. Usually I will ask them to whether I use a Mentimeter, or I will ask the students to summarize in the form of tweets on Twitter, or sometimes I will give them some activity. For example, one of my favorite is to revise the lesson using Quizlet, using the flashcard like this. Okay, guys. We're going to towards the end of this online class tonight. So now you have done tonight. You have done a few activities to learn more about copyright, the concept of copyright. Then I have also gone through some slides just now. So let's summarize the lesson tonight. Let's go through some of these questions here. Okay, the first one, a statement: all works must be preserved in some form in order for the owner to copyright them. True or false? Okay, so if you have understood what I have covered just now, you should be able to answer this question. So true or false? Maybe you can post the answer in the chat box. Okay, just pretend. Okay, so now okay, the answer is true. Okay, that's good. Let's look at another questions. Okay, not every type of original work can be copyrighted. True or false? So you can put your response in the chat box. Okay, what's the answer here? True, but there are exceptions. What are the exceptions? So now I can elaborate a little bit. What are the exceptions? Okay, then the third question. Again, okay, you give a speech but you didn't record or have it written out. Can you copyright it? No. So that's basically some of the activities. In this case, I'm doing some revision of everything that the students have done from the first segment, what I have given in the form of lecture in the second segment, then in the third segment, they're doing some more activities. In the fourth segment, I give some more lectures. And there's a final segment where I do some revision, or I will get the student also to do some reflections by tweeting their reflection in Twitter and so on. So basically, I think that's all that I want to share tonight. Let me see if we have questions that I can. Okay, yeah, I can see. Yeah, wow, we have about 41 participants still here. Okay, I'm going through the question that you have posted here. Just bear with me for a second. I'm looking at the questions. Macam mana nak conduct? There's one question here from I don't know what's the name. How do we conduct continuous assessment online to avoid copying? To avoid meniru or people copy from Google or from the book. How do we conduct continuous assessment online and to avoid students copying from each other or copying from the book? Well, Is that really a real concern in continuous assessment? To me, no. In fact, actually, the very reason why we are doing continuous assessment is to encourage students sorry, the formative assessment or the continuous assessment, to me, the reason is we want to, in fact, we want to encourage the students to refer to the book, to read more books, to refer to the journal, to find more, doing more reading and so on, in order for them to be able uh, to do the whatever the assessment, whatever the activities that we ask them to do in a very in a more effective way. So to me, that's not really an issue, because we do want to encourage them to do more effort, to put more effort, to do more reading, to do more research, in order to give the 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 best the best in terms of what they can do in the assessment, in the formative assessment that we ask them to do. So to me, it's not really a big issue. Um, okay. Activity to check. Yeah. Activity to check prior knowledge. The first segment of the online course, to me, it's good to start with activity rather than you just jump straight into your PowerPoint and start the lecture. I think it's good to revise, for example, do some form of activity to revise what they have learned in the previous lecture. I like to use Socrative as a way to check their prior knowledge or what they have learned from previous course, from previous lesson or from previous class. That will take probably about 5 minutes. And then you can start off with your PowerPoint if you like. Then another activity on the third segment. That actually to break the monotonous and then to kind of to attract their attention so that they don't get bored and hopefully not fall asleep. um, well, it's actually it's a challenge for those new to online. Even I thought I have some experience doing online, but doing live session like tonight is also a new experience for me. Probably if I do this thing more, probably I feel more comfortable. I can handle things more efficiently. So as you can see tonight, my first time on YouTube live. uh, I'm not nervous, but it's quite disorganized and with some of the technical things that I have to cope here, right? So yeah. Okay, let's see if I can get any more question. No, okay, we are not sleeping. Okay. Thank you for understanding, guys. This is my first time. I hope I can do better next time, and I know how to handle the system now better. If you don't try, then you don't know, right? Um, Dr. Teo, thank you for being here. Say a bit more about fourth industrial revolution. Maybe not tonight, Dr. Teo. Tonight is about how do we um design or structure our online class, moving from face to online class. So that 1 hour can be very long. If you want to do 1 hour online class, if you just giving lecture from your PowerPoint from the first slide to the 20th slides, it's going to be very, very boring. So my suggestion here is to break it up into 5 segments. Okay. So thank you, Dr. Farin, Dr. Ali Saleh Habadi, Who else? Suguna pun ada. Sir Mr. Gosh, thank you very much. No more question. What's your thought on pre-recorded lectures? What's my thought on pre-recorded lectures? What about you guys, folks? Pre-recorded lectures, I think I think it's good. It doesn't have to be all live like what we are doing tonight. I think we can have some of the lessons to be pre-recorded so that it's more efficient. You have more time to plan. Then you can have a mix of synchronous mode. Now we are doing synchronous real time. I can see your question. I can respond to your questions. But I think any good online course have this synchronous mode and asynchronous mode. For asynchronous mode, I'm going to talk about this in another session. We need to have a good platform. It can be your Moodle platform. In USM we use Moodle as we call it eLearn. It can be Open Learning platform. My favorite platform, Open Learning. Yeah, you can pre-record your video using application like Panopto. So this is a shout to Panopto. I don't know Amy is watching or not. Okay. Yeah, Panopto, for example, you can pre-record your video using many applications like Screencast-O-Matic, Loom, for example. There are many applications out there. Then pre-record the video, then you can have some of the lesson in the form of pre-recorded video. Then the students can actually watch this as part of their asynchronous mode. But there's no much interaction there. If there's a question, the student can post a question, but the instructor will answer later. But synchronous mode is probably, to me, one of the elements that we need to have in any good online course. Yes, please save this YouTube video. Yeah, this live session will be saved as a video that you can find later on my YouTube channel. Yeah, small hif. You say that a true learner will never copy during continuous assessment. Well, again, to me, continuous assessment, not really. I'm not worried so much about the issue of copy. Let them find as much reference as possible, read as much as they can, do some research so that they can actually come up with a very good assignment and so on. Okay. Yeah, Samishta said continuous assessment is for learning encouragement. That's right. And we can also actually monitor and check their whether they have any issues or any misconception and so on from the continuous assessment. Then we can do the necessary intervention from those assessment. Masli Rossi, thank you. Alicia Philip here. What app did I use to conduct this session? I'm using Mac, and I'm using this special application called Ecamm Live. Let me check. Ecamm Live. Yes, I have it on the screen now. I hope you can see. This is Ecamm Live for Mac. It's not free. I subscribe annual subscription around about $79 US. That's about 300 something a year, but it's a really great application because very flexible. But to be honest with you, tonight is my first time using Ecamm Live, and as you can see, I'm a bit disorganized, but I hope I will improve. Thank you for your understanding. Okay, whereby my first, okay, so okay, I'm looking for question here. How do we try how do we try, from Jamie Jamal, how do we try aligning the online content to the course outcome? Well, just like the online class is not very different from the face-to-face class in terms of aligning the content with the learning outcome. Every class that we go, when we go into the face-to-face class, that particular class will have its own learning outcome, right, as part of the bigger learning outcome. The same thing here for online class. It's not any different. So basically, when we design the activities, every activities actually would allow the student to uncover the content. So I use the word uncover rather than we cover the content for them, but we design the learning activities in such a way when the students do the learning activities, they will learn the content, they will uncover the content. But of course, even the lecture that we give and the activities that students do would be aligned with the learning outcome. Okay. Okay, Dr. Sharul Nizam, thank you for joining. Any Windows tool that you recommend for live video? Yes. If you don't want to spend money, you can use a free one, very, very powerful. It's called OBS, Open Broadcasting. I think OBS. It's free, available for PC as well as for Mac. I've used it before, very, very powerful, but the learning curve, there's a learning curve is quite steep. But it's not that difficult, but if you are willing to learn a little bit, OBS is the best choice to do live video like this. I'm using Ecamm, but you can try OBS. Very, very good application. You can do live streaming like this. Okay, with multiple tools, Amy Hasniza here, the question, with multiple tools being used for different activities, do you bring in the results for further analysis offline, or is it being used for the purpose of making the class interactive? Well, if you use a tool like Socrative is actually very powerful because as you saw just now, if I switch quickly to Socrative just now, oops, here, sorry, yep, okay, as you can see, I can download these results as an Excel file, and I can do further analysis. I can do item analysis of the question. I can see the overall performance of the student. I can do a lot of things with the data here as a post kind of analysis, and I can do whatever necessary intervention here. Okay. I'm going to end this session shortly. Let me check a few more questions if I can answer. Yeah, okay. I have plenty of questions which I will ask. Okay, thank you, Sumishta. My mom keep. Okay, all right. Okay, I guess I don't want to take too much of your time. I'll try to answer some of these questions after the session, so you will find the answer below the video. This live session will be saved as a video, recorded session. I will go through some of these questions which I have not answered, and you will find, if you like, you can come back and read the answer to the questions below the video. So I guess let me show just 1 or 2 more minutes. I'm going to switch the screen. You can see here, you are looking at my full screen, my full screen webcam, which is coming from Logitech C920. Okay, and this is scene 1, and now I switch to another scene, this is scene 2, and now I switch to the third scene, which is I'm sharing my my screen, my computer screen, my browser screen, or I can also switch to the PowerPoint. So this is actually scene number 3. So when you do live streaming using OBS for PC or using Ecamm like I'm using on the Mac, the powerful feature is I can set as many scenes as I wish, and then I can switch between the scene seamlessly. So that's the beauty of streaming, live streaming using application such as Ecamm Live for Mac and OBS for PC. Okay. I hope I can have another. I can make a recorded video or maybe live session to talk more about this kind of application. But for tonight, I think that's about all that I would like to share tonight. Once again, thank you for joining this session tonight. This is actually a learning session for me as well. My first time doing YouTube live, my first experience, the first time I'm using my Ecamm Live. I'm sorry, it's a bit, to me, it's very disorganized tonight. My first experience, I hope I can improve on this and can perform better, more well prepared. Today is actually a very hectic day for me, actually, very tiring, but you don't want to know about that. So I'd like to once again, thank you for supporting me. Thank you for joining the session. All of you are very busy, very tired as well. I hope I can do more of this, more organized and more focused, so that you can learn more and you don't waste your time joining the session. So with that, thank you so much, and I hope you can join again in the next session. Thank you. Okay. How do I stop the session now? Okay. Still learning. Thank you, everyone. You can sign off now. So tonight, good night, everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and good night, everyone. Yeah. Okay. Bye.